And close this window now?
I would
Or
put that to your side.
okay.
And you're live on Twitch. I see you. Hell yeah.
Okay. Nice. Sweet.
And you're live on Twitch. I see you. Hell yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I can hear myself. Oh no.
Yeah, that was horrible. So how do I turn off my audio so I don't hear myself a second time? Because it's feeding back to me.
Oh, you'd probably have to turn it off on Restream IO.
On Restream?
It's probably coming. It's playing.
Oh, I see it. All right, there we go. Now I got it.
It's probably coming. It's playing.
Oh, I see it. All right, there we go. Now I got it.
It's probably coming. It's playing.
Oh, I see it. All right, there we go. Now I got it.
It's probably coming. It's playing.
Oh, I
How
see
long did
it.
it take you to
All right, there we go.
do this?
Now I got it.
How long did it take you to?
Hold on a second. We're getting a. All right, there we go. We're getting a feedback. Hold on a second.
How long did it take you to?
Why is it feeding back? Talk to me now.
Talking to you now.
Okay. For whatever reason, we were getting a really bad loop, and I didn't have any way of controlling it.
Is it off? Or is it still going?
No, it's dead.
Okay, great. That's...
All right, let me just make one more adjustment here, because I'm trying to get my volume on everything as.
All right.
All right. Talk to me, Elijah. You're muted currently.
Fact. That is a fact. I am muted because I was trying to listen to the stream. We both sound very good.
Oh, good. Okay, excellent.
We can start a podcast right now.
Yeah. So just in case anybody's just tuning in or anybody's tuning in or watching this later, this is the first stream. This is the first time I'm using OBS. I've used previous streaming services for what we were doing. But it looks like I'm going to be moving to OBS, and I'm going to be doing and talking about model making and statues and production. And I got my friend and cohort here, Elijah. He's going to be helping me out today. We're just going to be talking about some models I'm working on and some things I'm setting up. And yeah. So you would ask me a question.
Yeah. How long? Hi, everybody. By the way, how long have you been working on this project you got going on here? And who is this?
So this is the Scarecrow, and I'm actually taking this from an earlier version of him, and I just did some enhancements on him today. I'm going to be setting this up. I'm setting this up right now for 3D printing. I think the original Sculpt only took me maybe a week or so, and I made it many years ago. The file's actually quite old, but this version of the Sculpt.
Oh, you can just bend it like that? That's really cool. What the?
Yeah. I'm just trying to twist this here, because as much as I like it, it's also kind of collapsing. So I'm going to go back in and I'm going to flesh this out a bit. But
is
yeah,
this the Scarecrow from Wizard of Oz or Batman?
I'm going to let you decide.
So it could be either one, huh?
Yeah. The original project, the client had hired me to create a specific interpretation, and that's what I did. And I needed a sample of my work for somebody else. So what I did was I'm taking that piece and I'm kind of scaling it up a little bit. And I'm just going through, I'm going to do a little bit of corrective sculpting on this wisp of hay to make it look more hair-like. And it's a little broken, but I'm not really too worried about that because I just want to give it make sure it has some volume, and then I'm going to go back in and I'm going to adjust the geometry a little bit.
Yeah.
So I'm going to see if this will turn it to Swiss cheese or maintain what I need to maintain. The one thing I don't want to do is I don't want to lose all the information, but I want to get a lot of the motion that's there. And I'm not trying to. I'm not interested in re-sculpting the thing because all the information is there already. I'm just looking to go in and sort of make some minor corrections. And it seems to be working just fine.
I'm fascinated. I have nothing to say. I am truly speechless. I have no idea what you're doing, but I'm like enthralled by it, 110%.
Well, it's really quite simple. What I'm doing is that I've gone in and I've made some changes, and then there's a tool inside of Zbrush or inside my software, and what it does is it retessellates the geometry depending on what value I have and the size of my brush. And it took that really rough geometry. See how this is all really rough looking?
Yeah.
And it redistributed it through that area. Now I'm losing some volume, but I'm not too concerned about that. I will, however, want to take this strand and tuck it in someplace. I don't mind the gap, but I want to make sure that it tucks in someplace because it's very long and slender. And one of the tricks, this is one of those teaching moments where one of the tricks to measuring a diameter on something is I can grab the Transpose Line. That's what this tool is. And if I draw it out from edge to edge, I can get a rough estimate about how big it is. And it's saying it's 1 millimeter across, so it's actually a little too tiny. So I'll smooth this out and then I'll tuck it in a little bit. I've also got a hole here, so I have to remember to run close holes because that's a really bad thing to have. So we'll run that real quick.
So did you sculpt this all in your program, or was it uploaded from that sculptor you were showing me earlier?
No, the original piece that I showed you, that's actually a casting of the 3D print. And I think that was really early on for me, both in my digital career, but even earlier on in my molding and casting phase of things. So that's actually like I said, it's a 3D print of this object in an earlier state. And now I'm going to switch to move. I want to do move topological. Hopefully this does the trick. Yep, that's exactly what I want. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to use this. So this tells the software, does the trick, yep. Then we're going to move just that strand. And we can leave the little bit of gap there. And that'll be cool because people will be like, oh, that's cool. But yeah, I have a customer who's looking for some specialty stuff, and he asked me if we have any samples, and some of the stuff I've done recently is still under lockdown, i.e. non-disclosure, or we can't talk about it. But this piece is pretty old, and the original client and I got everything out of it, so I have... It's okay for me to mess with this guy here because it was a joint project. So I'll just use this as a one-off for my sample book, basically.
I wish you could show what you showed me yesterday, the little Tin Man. I don't want to say too much about it. As much as I want to show that, I'm not going to show that today because that's we're shopping that right now. And if I show that, that'll undermine us being able to shop that around to potential clients. So we got to keep that one. We got to keep that one wrapped up for a little bit. The Scarecrow, the Tin Man. Next, you got to do the Lion, I think.
Right.
All these Wizard of Oz characters. I didn't know you're so inspired by Wizard of Oz.
I'm really not. I make what comes at me. And weirdly enough, because I'm working on Quetzalcoatl, the winged serpent from South America, I'm actually thinking about making a griffin, and a griffin is part bird, part lion. So I was thinking about that recently as well. But yeah, this guy's good to go. So what I do here is, so for those of you that don't know. You want to name your stiff. Rename Scarecrow.
Staying organized is very important.
Right.
Stay organized, kids. I really wish I did this more, especially with video editing. I do not know how to stay organized. Writing, oh my god. You should see my notebooks. It's a nightmare. I don't know where anything is.
I use a lot of tools. I use a lot of tools to stay organized because with my learning disabilities, it can be very hard to keep track of everything. So I have to use tools to keep in order. So real quick, what I'm going to do is because I'm going to save this out and I'm going to send this off. But I'm going to save it out now. So this guy's ready to go for me. I don't really need to do a lot. The model's on the older side. I am going to plop this on my desktop. We don't really shouldn't use your desktop, but I got a number of other projects that are hidden away, so I don't want to go in those folders right now. I'm going to update my size, and right now this model is going to be XY. It's going to be 187 millimeters tall, which is pretty big. It's 187 millimeters is right around somewhere between 8 and 9 inches. I'd have to do double check.
Whoa.
But then I'm going to export this. Well, he's got a top knot, so it's not really.
Yeah, from top to, it's still impressive. Like,
yeah,
that would be a very good centerpiece in my room. Which, by the way, what would it take for, like, say, if I wanted a custom item? Like, how would I go about that?
Well, normally, so that brings up some interesting topics because we talk about best practices and so on and so forth. And I'm gonna grab the next thing I'm gonna work on today. It really comes down to a couple things. It really should come down to, you should focus on your budget. You should also have a very clearly defined idea of what it is you want to make. Those two things will get you in trouble really fast, both with the people you hire and with yourself. Because if you have a nebulous concept and no reference and no direction, what you're going to find is that you're going to spend a lot of money, or you're going to find somebody who's going to start the project but not be able to finish it because the scope is too broad. With me, I need to have a really good idea. I need to have some reference art if I can get it, or I need to be able to put reference art together with the client. Before any of that, I need to have an agreement on price, and I have an hourly rate, which I'm not going to discuss openly right now. I might discuss it later because I've got bunch of things that might be settling and changing that.
So basically, just come at you with knowing exactly what I want and a budget in mind.
Yeah, and the other thing too is you need to know the scale or the rough size. So if I hold the scarecrow up here, so this is the original scarecrow, and this guy is 7 inches tall. This is supposed to be a bust of a scarecrow, and I was given a front sketch, and I was given lots of freedom to develop the piece. And that's really where I need to be happy. I really want to work on pieces where I have freedom to make it work, basically. I don't want somebody coming up to me and micromanaging me. However, there are a lot of customers that feel they need to do that. And it's like, I went to art school, I went to computer animation school, I've been doing this a long time. I have other people that'll ask for guidance from. But I don't want anybody bothering me when I'm working because it's distracting and it takes away from what I'm doing, and it's very my software's saving. It's very time consuming to constantly have interruptions.
Yeah.
But if you said to me, let's just pick something. Let's say you said to me, I want to do Chewbacca.
If I wanted to do sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Chewbacca. I was gonna pick Chewbacca because everyone knows who Chewbacca is. And you said, I want to do a Chewbacca. I want to do him 1/6 scale, which 1/6 scale should be 12-inch human. And Chewbacca's 8 feet tall, so he'd be maybe somewhere between 12 and 14 inches tall. And you were like, okay, I want to do Chewbacca. I want to have him with his back to the wall, getting ready to look around the corner with his crossbow shooter, his cross bolt shooter, whatever that thing is.
Yeah.
That right there is very easy for me to do because I can go and get reference for the weapon and the environment and the character, and I can just build that, you know. And I'll make a few changes per the client's request, but there's a limit to that too because after you make a couple of changes, it starts adding time, so the customer has to pay for those changes. Otherwise, I'm losing money trying to fulfill those requirements. But that there is easy to do in my mind because I know what Chewbacca looks like. Everybody knows what Chewbacca looks like, and that's
so
a
the more custom it is, the harder it will be, but the easier and more referenceable, the easier it will be. So the more known, it'll be pretty easy. But if you have to come up with something just like out of the blue, say like I just came up with a really absurd idea of like a turtle with a traveler on, like a turtle. You know how the turtle has I think it's in Greek myth where the whole earth is on a turtle's back.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. So there's two things to that, and I'll show you guys some stuff. So so what you're talking about is exactly what this is. So for me, everything is referenceable. So this is exactly where I'd pull my reference from.
Yeah.
And I would take this and photos like this. Now this is a I believe this is an alligator snapping turtle, and he's come out of hibernation. They can hibernate, especially in the northern areas, but you'll find turtles where they'll have mud and plants and stuff on them. Now this looks like a common snapping turtle, not an alligator.
Yeah.
Big difference. But I can take this here, and then what I can do is I can go and I'll go to Pinterest and I'll look for other references. And this may give me the same search, but it also may just give me a bunch of turtles. And I can also go and look up the myth. The myth will have a name. There's a concept for the myth, basically.
Yeah.
But I can do that, and then I can find like pieces of art that are relative to that, and from there I can build a style sheet. So I have a style sheet for some dragons I'm working on. I'll show you that real quick. So we're gonna restore these and see if. All right, so these aren't relative to the conversation. Let me go and open one. Puref. So a reference board for me, it's basically just picking the direction. I'll show you Quetzalcoatl. So I'm working on Quetzalcoatl. We'll show you the model here, but I want to give you guys a good idea about what we're talking about. So this reference board has some sketches or some paintings that people have done that are Quetzalcoatl or Quetzalcoatl-like. I've got some references for wings, how other people have built wings, because everybody's done it before and they've all done it better than I have. Some actual anatomy, some proportional studies. The snake head that I referenced for the Quetzalcoatl, which I'm working on. This is the largest bird of prey in South America, the harpy eagle. I really want to do a crown of random feathers like this, so yeah. I pulled that. And then I have some costume stuff for if I'm going to do some characters. I really wanted to talk about that and think about that, but I've changed the direction. And then I have the feathered serpent notes. What is Quetzalcoatl? Where does he come from? What kind of god is he? And I take all that and I start working on it. And so this is the head for that model and the start of the piece, and then this is the sculpture that I'm working on. So if we're going to work on this now, probably what I do, I'd go over to my wing base, turn the wings on, I turn off the pieces for the sculpture, at least for the moment. And I've got to do a bunch of corrective things here, so we can talk about this. So what I got to do is I got to go through here and make sure that these are all tilted the right way. And so I'll bring up my pure ref again, and we'll check the reference board. So yeah, in a nutshell, just so you guys know, this is the mistake I made. The leading edge should be up, and the trailing edge should be down. And I should have known this growing up in an aerospace family. But I made that mistake. So real quick, I'm just going to go through here and I'm going to strip out some of these feathers, like this batch here. That batch is garbage. So I'm going to go ahead and delete these because we're going to redo a bunch of these. It's easier to redo some stuff like this than it is to... and these guys got screwed up too. But yeah, when I'm working with a client, some clients really, they come to me and they really do not have all their ducks in a row. These aren't tilted, so I'll leave those. But they won't have all their ducks in a row. They won't have everything figured out for themselves. And what I have to do is I have to look at what their needs are, what the requests are, and then take that and see if I can't work out a way to get them to the location. So it's a little bit like being an artist is a little bit like being, for lack of a better term, a porter. You know, I have to take you on a journey with me, if that makes any sense at all.
Yes, sir.
And you basically take people where they need to go. You provide them with guidance and your expertise, and hope that they want to go on the same journey with you. The sad truth is that there's two sad truths. One of the ones that's really frustrating is that a lot of young artists have trouble doing that because it requires a certain amount of personality and a certain amount of patience. And there is also a lot of customers who have exactly the same problem. They have little or no patience. They think that they're the guy driving the ship, and they want to micromanage everything to death, and that's just that's a poor way of doing. That's a poor way of doing any art. In fact, some people I work with, we sometimes look at art commissions as creation by committee, and we've seen all the movies that do that. You know which ones I'm talking about, where it's creation by committee.
Yeah.
And those things are basically, the life is sucked right out of them because too many cooks in the kitchen, so to speak, and they just
every Hollywood film ever.
Well, I wouldn't say every Hollywood film, but there's a lot of them that have suffered that injustice.
A lot. Most blockbusters, I would say.
Yeah, and there's some films that that seem to be okay with that, and then there's a lot of films that you think that they're going to be one thing and they turn out to be something completely different. So these are some feathers I set up. I'm not going to tilt these just yet. Right now I'm going through a cleaning process because I got a couple of these that are borked up, and I have to decide if I'm going to junk them. And I've got some junk geometry, so I'm going to fiddle with that a little bit. Well, I might save that for later. Maybe I'll just sculpt on the muscle up here, the main support of the wing, because I think what I want to do is I want to look at my reference and put some stuff into that. And yeah, and I don't know if you wanted to ask more questions or not.
Yeah, I don't really have any more. I'm just here for the ride.
Here for the ride. So really what I'm going to do is, because the wings, just so if anybody's watching, we can talk about this, or we can look at questions in a bit. I'm basically just blocking this out, and then this is going to take the posture, roughly, it's because it's not exact, this is going to take the posture of the wings that I have resting over here. So you can technically see, if we look at it from the other side, you can see I've got two wings that are attached, roughly attached to the body, and then I've got the work file over here with the flight feathers and all that other stuff. These wings are not, these are an early mock-up, so I could get the volume roughly figured out, but I've already had to make a number of corrections, and that's just part of the way I work. I'm constantly editing and tweaking the structure until I get the desired effect. Even the head, it was built separately so that I can manage that, because if you look at the head, just so you guys can see it, the head is actually made of many parts, and those parts, there we go, those parts all need to work together. Now I haven't finished sculpting this, but it's easier to build the part and then do like the finishing sculpting and then put it into position after the fact. I'm doing the same thing with the wings. I'm basically, all of this I'm just planning all the way through, looking at how to clean things up and how to make them smart and keep the object configured properly. So did you see What If yet?
What If?
What
oh
If?
yeah, I did. I actually watched it last night.
Nice.
Yeah, it was pretty good, honestly. Kind of I don't know. I didn't know what I was expecting. It was Marvel. It was a good Marvel movie. Well, like a short film, I guess.
Well, I gotta tell you, I used to collect the What If comic books when I was a kid, so to me it was pretty cool to see them, you know, finally doing something with that part of the property.
Yeah, it comes to life. And it all fits in too with like the multiverse stuff, which is really awesome. I have a hypothesis that we're gonna get a Nowhere Home trailer after the What If series is done, or at least the Spider-Man episode, because I feel like it's gonna be intertwined for some reason.
I'm looking forward to whatever they give us. I will say though that I've heard a lot of people who really truly want to see like a Spider-Verse thing, a live-action Spider-Verse thing with all of the Spider-Man stuff, and I cannot in my heart get behind that, because there's too many dumb things that happened with the other two Spider-Man live-action Spider-Man guys that I just don't want to see. I don't want to see the MCU's Spider-Man tainted by the Sony Universe Spider-Man.
You know, I will give Andrew Garfield some credit. He wasn't.
I don't have a problem with Andrew Garfield. It was just that he started acting out, and it ended up screwing up everything for him and everybody around him.
Oh, I didn't know that. What's that story?
Yeah, so I don't ask me what the exact details are, but basically what had happened is that he started showing up. He started basically acting like a little bit like a diva, and I don't know how true all of this is, but I was listening to things and hearing things and paying attention to it. But essentially, he started acting like a diva, and he didn't go to certain events in South America that he was supposed to go to. Like, he just basically hung out in the hotel because he had a hangover or something like that. And Sony was basically like, they got fed up with whatever his problem was, and they basically said, you know what, you're too much of a hassle, we're not going to keep working with you, we're going to do something else. And that was the end of it. And I was
I had no idea that was the reason.
Yeah, and I was like, I liked him so much more than Tobey Maguire. I really thought he was better suited for the character. Not to mention his counterpart, the young woman who was his counterpart. I kind of have a thing for her. But then again, I'm like, all of the female actresses. I'm like, oh, this one's awesome. Oh, this one's awesome. Oh, this one's awesome.
I really prefer Tobey Maguire as Peter Parker, um, Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man, but I really like Tom Holland as both. I think they have a really good.
Yeah, I don't think they could have. I don't think they could have made out better with Tom Holland and his relationship with people like uh,
Or
I'm trying to remember who played Tony Stark. I should know his
Robert
name.
Downey Jr.
Thank you. That kind of stuff. I'm just like, yes, yes, yes. It's just kind of. There's just some people that are meant to, or they're built for doing certain things.
I agree.
You know, so.
I'm gonna give it to the casting directors more so than the actors. I think.
Oh yeah. The casting director
On the head with all the. I think I'd be comfortable with saying like all of the MCU guys. I don't really except Hawkeye. I don't think I could see anybody else in those roles.
I think Hawkeye. I think you're right. Hawkeye is just one of those guys where he could have been a number of different people, and the guy that they have playing him, I like him, but his current issue or current supposed issue, supposedly they're having trouble with. He's having some drug issue. I don't know how true that is. Again, it's none of my concern, but. Supposedly he's having some issues, and I hope he gets figured out. But I just heard that Disney was like, because of the lawsuit and stuff, they're parting ways with Scarlett Johansson, and I'm like, why? She's amazing. Just give her what she wants. But you know, the mouse giveth, and the mouse taketh away.
See, I honestly don't care for. I don't know if it's because I don't really care for Black Widow as a character. I'm really not. I think she had her run. I don't really think they could really do anything anymore with the character, unless it was like alternate universe type thing. But
there was some talk within different fan groups that Scarlett Johansson was going to be brought back to life through the Loki story.
Interesting.
Because remember they can go through, they can operate in different spaces and times, and there was something to the effect of, and keep in mind I know nothing.
Yep.
But there was something to the effect of the villain that they've been chasing is
I think of the villain's name, Kang.
Yeah, Kang the Conqueror. So supposedly Kang is the perfect vehicle to, shift things around and give us, somebody like Scarlett Johansson, or give us Black Widow back. So I thought that would be really cool because while she may not be your favorite character and she's not entirely a pivotal character, she is a character that she's just fun to watch. Because like when I saw it,
a human fighting aliens, it's kind of dope.
Yeah, but maybe it is partly just sex appeal, but I really enjoy watching Scarlett Johansson work, and I need to watch, when I get a chance, I want to watch the second or I want to watch the Black Widow trailer or movie again. But I think it's one of those things where I just enjoyed her performance, and there's a lot of people out there that have great performances that are of garbage characters, and then there's a lot of people out there that have great performances of absolutely stellar characters. Look at Robert Downey Jr. in Sherlock Holmes. I mean, it's another perfect character with another ideal actor, and it's just like too much.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, you know what?
I just hope they don't cheapen Black Widow's death by bringing her back. I think that's more so what I don't know. I feel like I guess there's a lot you could do with that.
So you would prefer her dead?
Yeah, but if we could utilize Scarlett Johansson in a different way, I think that'd be dope. She becomes in a what if universe, she becomes a taskmaster, and then I don't know. She's recruited by Nick Fury. I don't know.
Their interpretation of Taskmaster blew me away. I thought, I never read anything with Taskmaster in it, but I always thought that Taskmaster was a mutant ability and not some sort of, for lack of a better term, damage. You know what I mean?
I think in the comics it is a mutant ability. I'm like 85%, 75, 50% sure. But I'm pretty sure I think it's but we haven't had mutants yet, and I don't think we're gonna have mutants until maybe like 4 or 5 years from now. Oh, I wonder if they're gonna do mutants in What If.
I don't know. I
think they will. I think we're gonna get mutants because they were talking about bringing. Did you see Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I dropped off after a while. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. got a little bit weird after they got back from the planet with that invasive character. I really didn't know what the heck they were going to do next, and I was really confused by the story arc they were taking. So I just pulled back from it. I was like, this doesn't work for me, or it's not working for me. So I haven't kept up with it at all. And I like the Coulson character. I actually like all the actors and actresses in that, but I just really wasn't feeling it after a while because it got too weird.
No, I think everybody would agree with you there. But I just saw a news article today that they're going to try to port. Chloe Bennett, I think that's her name, has signed on for a Marvel thing. So I think they might be doing something with mutants. They were pretty much unofficially announced mutants.
Well, I definitely liked her, and like I said, I like the actor who played Coulson.
I hope we get him back in the multiverse.
I don't know. His run may be done though, because he's not pivotal, and I'm really kind of frustrated with losing Vision or not having Vision moving forward. He just, I know that they've got the new Vision or whatever he is, the white Vision.
But that's still going to be Vision because he has all the memories.
He does, but there was a disconnect with, for lack of a better term, his heart. And I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know how they're going to use that, and I'm really confused by the whole thing.
Vision gets his heart back. That's the next arc.
Vision gets his heart back. You're horrible, dude.
He had it all along. It's a Wizard of Oz thing. It was in him the whole time.
You and the Wizard of Oz, man.
I don't know. It's just on the top of my mind today. You started it with your Scarecrow, okay?
Yeah, but what if the Scarecrow is like Batman?
I prefer it to be Oz.
Yeah.
Come on. Don't you want to see a dark? I can't say it seriously. Don't you want to see a dark, gritty remake of The Wizard of Oz? Wouldn't that be like your childhood dream?
They think they've done a couple of them in the last 20 years, and each one of them, they're usually TV specials, and each one of them has been weirder and more forgettable than the last.
Yeah.
And that's a horrible thing to somebody to say, because somebody put a lot of effort into those things, but they're really not good.
I like the one with Michael Jackson.
I'm not even going to comment on that, because I just know.
Call you a racist if you say you don't like it. All right, I'm sorry.
I don't like it because the level of weird that was in it. It was almost like my problem with it had a lot more to do with the fact that it felt like a ripoff of something that Jim Henson would want to do.
Yeah,
and it was basically like, hey, look at this stuff that Jim does. Let's go ahead and copy that, because we like what Jim does. And then they did what they did, and it's just sort of like, oh no, who decided that this was a thing?
I did. I was just yanking the chains.
No, I understand, and I'm just looking at it and being like,
Quickly switching gears, it just got stuck in my head. Do you play D&D?
I haven't played D&D in a very long time, but one of my friends is trying to get me back into it, and I'm considering it, but I have too much on my plate, and one of the reasons that we're streaming is because of that. I need to get more stuff done, and because I'm trying to be as productive as humanly possible, I don't see myself playing D&D anytime soon. There's just too much stuff to do. But I used to.
The reason I brought it up was because I said what was it called? I guess it's a metaphor. I had a character where he would just butcher metaphors all the time, and it was my favorite character I played.
Was his name Butch?
His name was what was his name? There was a point where we I don't know how it happened, but we started calling him Dick Cheese.
Come on, we're streaming.
I mean, like Richard. It was short for Richard. Richard Cheese.
You're horrible. What would your grandmother say?
She'd laugh, probably, actually. I always hate that, dude. When people, me and my grandma are like very close. She's very free-spirited.
Right.
So anytime someone's like, "What would your grandma say?" I'm like, "I don't know." She says the same things that I do. She'd be a little bit embarrassed, but she would laugh about it.
My grandmother was a pretty extraordinary person as well, and I said something inappropriate in front of her, and she said, her response was, "Don't please, don't say that." And I said, "Well, it's better to be blah 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 than it is to be blah blah." And she was just sort of like, "You're just gonna do what you want." And I was like, kind of, pretty much.
Exactly. Yeah. And then they love you for who you are. That's what a grandma is.
They love you in spite of it, basically.
Yeah, it's like, you know what? I was your age once, and I love your gumpture. Is that the word? I don't know. Gusto, maybe.
So you bought a new dartboard today. How is it playing out for you over there?
Oh, besides it falling and hitting my face today, I've got blood everywhere and scratched up. Very fun. I love it, and it's already become a metaphor for my life, creatively. You
mean throwing things at a wall until it sticks?
No, because everything sticks when I throw it at a wall. So, all right, not that.
Boo.
Hey, it's more like everything. Speaking of sticking to the wall, see, always sticks to the wall. You can't see it, but it's
I can see it. I can see it in my little window here.
My grandma will kill me. Gonna have to patch that up eventually. But no, it's just like you might not get a bullseye most of the time, but as long as you're close, you can kind of feel good about it. You know, and that's like I don't know why I related that to myself, but that was just a metaphor that popped into my head, and to justify me not getting bullseyes, which was really hard actually.
Well, you'll get the hang of it eventually, and then you'll be like getting them in there all the time. There's some major dart competitions, and I watched. I don't know if it was a dart competition or a magic event or something, but a guy threw a dart and then threw another dart, and the other dart went into the tail of the previous dart.
Yeah, I think that's a movie that you're thinking about. I've definitely seen that happen in the movie.
Yeah, and those kinds of things are pretty cool.
Does that happen in real life, you think? Or do you think?
I suspect it does, because I'm pretty sure there are judges and rulings on that stuff, and you know, I think that when those kinds of random things happen, there's a lot of
I would let the guy win, to be honest. I think he deserved to win at that point.
Yeah, I think that I think you get something special for doing it, even though it's technically frowned upon, because you're damaging, equipment, and damaging sports equipment in almost every sport I can think of. Intentionally damaging sports equipment in every sport I can think of is considered a real bad form. So
I think it's worth it sometimes. I would give my life savings to somebody who could do that off the record, because I'm not going to actually do that.
Well, I think some of the dart competition I watched was either in England or Ireland or something like that. England, Ireland, Scotland. It was someplace over there, right? And these guys were like, it's just like golf or professional bowling or whatever. They've gotten to the point where, except for, the things that make them inaccurate are things like environment, weather, distractions. It's all the same things that make, professional sports players in other fields, come up short. So if you think about it, when they're fresh, their scores are going to be high, their accuracy is going to be high, so on and so forth. But you add some stress in there, you make them a little bit tired.
Oh, bullseye. Sorry. All right.
You're fine. You're fine. You got a bullseye. That's awesome. Congratulations.
And then I got another one in the door. That's life, right?
That is exactly what life is. Life is everything that is. So we've been streaming for about 48 minutes. So I'm only going to go an hour today, because all I'm doing is I'm doing some fine tuning stuff. I'm not starting anything new today. I might stop this and throw. Yeah, I'm going to keep working on this for now, because I just want people to see, if somebody's going to be watching this, I want them to see some of the work that I'm doing. But I was looking for the time on the restream. So the restream is for those of you that don't know, the restream gives me a very clear time of run. The OBS, not so much, and not. Oh, there it is. I see it. OBS has got it really, really low. So I'm going to have to keep an eye on that, because I'm going to try and keep these sessions, no matter what I'm making, I'm going to try and keep these sessions about an hour. And if we start getting people coming in and asking questions and getting involved with the stream, again, I'm going to keep them shorter. Mostly because, as awesome as this is, to work on a piece or see people working on pieces, I want to keep them light and fresh. And I don't want them to become tedious. And I think I can do them, a couple times a week without it being too much. So
I'm all about it. It'd be cool to, if you ever have free time, to chop these up into like a highlight channel. That'd be that's
yes.
Like extra work, but sometimes people don't want to watch the whole thing. Like I would have listened to just our conversation on what if. But there's a lot of good segments in there.
Well, I think you're absolutely right, and I think that overall, because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have people on from time to time talking about different things and different projects, and I'll be working on whatever I'm working on, or I'll be answering questions. So if I get like a student or somebody to come in and like hang out and ask questions, I want to be in a position where I can move through that content and make that work for everybody.
You can actually do it pretty easily by clipping it on Twitch itself, and then downloading the clip on Twitch too, and then spreading it around. If you're doing like chunk clips, I should say.
Okay. I understand what you're talking about. For a second there, I was like, huh? What you talking about?
Hey, sometimes if you need me to dumb things down, let me know. Or just simplify it. Or if you don't know anything,
I know nothing. No, my problem really had more to do with since we've been talking about these different systems, I wasn't entirely clear on Twitch, and then I was like, oh yeah, Twitch and Instagram and all the different platforms that I can possibly plug it into, and I have to think through them. I can't just I was trying to change gears. That was my problem.
Gotcha. Yeah, makes sense. Don't worry. Sometimes you gotta. I don't know. I was going to come with a really bad metaphor there that I probably would have quit writing after I said it out loud.
There was this one time in band camp.
Exactly. That's it. I'm done. I really want to write a story about band camp. I feel like I haven't seen a band camp story in a while.
I think it's all relative.
The last trumpet is played on that one at band camp. Yeah.
Yeah. It's I think it was tired before I started quoting it. So.
Oh, absolutely. Well, that's kind of the joke of it, and it's so old.
This joke is so tired. We had to go to the retirement home to get it.
We had to dig it up from its grave. It was rolling there. That's for sure.
Speaking of the woman who said that, she's on the what is it called? Trick Penn and Teller thing.
The woman that said what?
One time at band camp. She's a little redhead. She was in.
That?
What's that?
Did somebody start one time at band camp?
Yeah.
Wait, when? That's just something I always heard, like in school, and we always said that.
Oh my gosh.
I am young. You are old.
Oh, okay. So there's this really old movie. God, you're dating me so much, man. This is horrible. There's this really old movie called American Pie. And
I didn't know it came from American Pie. I've watched American Pie.
And this cute little redhead says this one time in band camp, and it's the woman who said it is the actress who said it in the movie is currently working with Penn and Teller on Fool Penn and Teller. She's like the
host, right?
The host, yes. And she's very squeamish, which makes it very funny.
Yeah, she's great.
And she's very cute, and oh my gosh! Every time somebody asks her to assist, I'm just hoping that she says, "Guys, we're not doing that anymore."
I think there will be a time. I'm pretty sure she has said that actually.
Really?
Sure. Yeah. I recently just watched through all of them. I'm pretty sure she's like, we're not doing that again. And then, of course, it's a joke. She's doing it again next time. She gets paid to do it. What an awesome job, though. Being a forever spectator for Magic, I would love that job.
I bet you would.
Goddamn right.
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh man, it did.
All right. So let's see here. I'm gonna call it here in a minute because I'm not gonna watch. You guys don't want to watch me. If anybody is watching, you guys don't want to watch me fiddling around with feather bits for the next hour. So I'm gonna go ahead and call it a night on this one. Come back. We're gonna try and stream. We're gonna try and stream every couple of days, or every 3 days or so, or twice a week. I'm gonna be working on things like the Quetzalcoatl statue and other projects that are handed off to me. And this has been a lot of fun. And I want to thank Elijah for spending some time with me. And yeah, we'll see you next time.